Love the activities here at UCHealth Training Center. We have a great show in store for you, including a Chris Harris Jr. mic'd up segment. Hello, and thank you for joining us for Broncos Training Camp 2019, powered by Ford. I'm Phil Milani, alongside Matt Boyer and Steve Atwater. Day 5 of camp. Finally got to see some one-on-ones and red zone drill yesterday.
That's what everybody wants to see. Everybody wanted to see Cortland Sutton versus Chris Harris Jr. Everybody wanted to see how Isaac Yiadom was doing in year 2. Steve, come on, man.
Stop.
Don't make that face.
Offensive drill, man. They should dominate. They should do well in that drill, man. No, the defense, they not really playing the defense. The quarterback comes out and knows it's man-to-man coverage, so he's just throwing it up. He can throw it in the middle of the field. Be a post safety there. It drives me crazy.
Offense versus defense.
It is important to get that timing down. Flacco, guy like Cortland Sutton, Deshaun Hamilton, they look pretty sharp out there.
They did. I thought it was important for Cortland Sutton to get experience against a guy like Chris Harris Jr., number one wideout going against in the number one position, I should say, going up against Chris Harris Jr. I think Sutton has done a nice job demonstrating, the route tree, his ability to do more than just go down the field and catch a jump ball. I thought that's been great. And then Hamilton has been doing an incredible job. The rhythm with Flacco that he's developed I thought was nice. Some crossing routes. Finding space is Hamilton's big thing that he's going to need to work on and really capitalize on this season, and he's done it so far in camp.
Yeah, man, the wide receivers really have been impressive. I haven't seen too many of the guys dropping balls. I know the first day Cortland Sutton had the drops a little bit, but he's back on track and doing really well. So I think that the wide receiver room could be pretty strong, especially with Juwan Winfrey coming in and having a really good camp. I think, man, how much better could it go for a 6th-round draft pick than, coming out here showing that he has the playbook down, he has the hands, the speed, he has the size to get off the line of scrimmage. He's doing everything right now.
No combine for Juwan Winfrey. Still was able to come out to a pro day here, really impress the Broncos.
What's with those CU guys not getting invites, man?
Hey, but then once they get to the league, hey, everything changes. I know one guy who's not so impressed by one-on-one drills. That's a head coach, Vic Fangio. He says one-on-ones, hey, that's just a teaching drill, not real football.
I tell a story, and it's a true story. In all my years as a coordinator, I've never watched a one-on-one drill. I'm assuming you're alluding to wide receivers, DBs. I've never watched it in person nor on tape. Because if you watch that drill, you'd be afraid to ever call man coverage. So it's a drill. It's a teaching drill. Okay? And that's the way I look at it.
He's unimpressed.
He's great. I love him up there.
There we go.
With them.
Defensive coach.
Exactly. What do you think? You believe him? He's never watched that?
I don't know if he's never watched it. I believe he may have seen some early on and decided that there was little value in it. So, yeah, I believe he scrapped it several years ago, though.
One of the things that I think is important, though, is the fact that so much of a wide receiver's success is dictated right at the line of scrimmage, right at the snap. We talked about it a lot last year, the fact that some of the pre-snap stuff that the Broncos were doing and some of the stuff right off the snap, getting jammed and letting DBs kind of dictate where they go. I think that can be alleviated in those one-on-one drills if you practice it enough. So I think there's some value, but as Coach said, that's not real football.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's value as well.
Some value. All right. Well, it's the 5th day of camp. The Broncos relatively healthy so far. Let's head down to the field and check in with Alexis Perry for an injury report.
Thanks so much, Phil. Yeah, I can tell you that there are at least 3 guys that are eager to get on the field for any kind of drill. Like you guys know, tight end Jake Butt is coming back from a torn ACL suffered in September. He had a really nice first 3 days of camp, but he's not out there right now, and he might take the day off again, just like he did yesterday. As for fellow tight end Troy Fumagalli, he is dealing with a nagging hip injury. He put in a little work yesterday, but he was not feeling good for a full practice, so he is currently day-to-day, but he is out there right now stretching. Finally, for those of you wondering how Emmanuel Sanders is feeling on day 5 as he works his way back from a torn Achilles, Coach Fangio said yesterday that it is a slow but sure process. You'll see him participate in the early periods of practice. Then the trainers will take him in to do some more cardio inside, so he doesn't have to pound on the ground. Coach says that he's even a little further along than they expected at this time, which is good news for Broncos fans who are holding out hope that he'll be ready for Monday Night Football in Oakland. Guys, back to you.
Thank you very much, Alexis. Yeah, they missed Emmanuel Sanders out there on one-on-one drills. We talked about the offensive side. What about, Steve, let's get to the defensive side. What have you seen from Kareem Jackson?
Kareem Jackson, he's a big hitter. He's known for that. When we played them last year when he was with the Houston Texans, he came up. Philip Lindsay caught a pass out in the flat, and he came up and put a nice little shot on him. And Philip, he made the pass incomplete. He kind of knocked the ball loose. I was a little bit upset about that, but I'm glad that he's on our team now. The only concern I have with Kareem Jackson is, can he hold up for a full season? I know he hasn't had injury issues in the past, but he's a smaller safety, and if he's going to be playing a majority of safety, we got some tough running backs in our conference. We got Melvin Gordon, Damian Williams, I think, is the guy from the Kansas City Chiefs.
Jacobs up there.
Josh Jacobs with the Raiders. He's going to have his hands full, so I just need him to make it through a full season, and I think he'll be able to do that, but his size is the only thing that concerns me.
Health is going to be important, but I think, with Simmons and Parks kind of backing him up, it's been interesting to see how he's come to the sideline. Jackson has after the series, talking with Simmons, talking with Parks, and saying, hey, what did you see on that play? What coverage? What do we like about what just happened, and how can we correct it? So I do think everybody's on the same page, and it's shown because the amount of interceptions that the safeties have gotten this training camp so far has been pretty impressive.
Now, I'm impressed with that from Kareem Jackson's point of view. The other guys can learn something from that, because really that's getting extra reps. When you're not in, you're kind of going through it, living it through Will Parks and Justin Simmons, and if everybody can do that, they'll get those extra mental reps that they need to get better.
Hoping for big seasons from Justin Simmons and Will Parks. You see Justin Simmons there. Will Parks getting ready for practice here today. These guys still learning the defense. There's a lot of checks, especially for the secondary, including a guy like Chris Harris Jr., really smart off the field, but he wasn't around for that offseason program.
But the one thing you got to love about Chris Harris Jr. is the fact that he came into the league as an undrafted guy, and Pro Bowls, Super Bowls, he still acts like an undrafted guy early on in camp. He's got a chip on his shoulder. He's talking noise. He's got a lot to prove. Always wants to go up against the number one wideout for the offense during one-on-ones or team drills. So the edge is still very much there for Chris Harris Jr.
Chris Harris is a coach's dream. He's a guy who loves the game of football. He has the skill, the speed to play the position. He has the heart, and he has that swagger. A lot of people don't know, but as a cornerback, you got to have swagger, because you're going up against the best player many times on the offensive side of the ball, and the wide receiver, the guy who's the fastest. So, have a little bit of swagger, have that confidence, because you're going to have normally a long days on Sunday in terms of having to cover the best player on the field.
Chris Harris Jr. Not lacking in that department. We had number 25 wired for sound in practice, and here's a small snippet of what things look like from his point of view.
You know we coming, boy. Hey, we coming. You know we coming, boy. That's how I practice. That's all I know. Hey, but I love Lindsay, though, because he got that dog like me. I'm the same way. He want to fight. Hey, Phil, man. I still love you, man. Don't be mad. We good. I know you needed it. That's why I hit you.
That's why I hit you.
Gave you what you needed.
Don't be mad.
Exactly. Interesting to see practice through one guy's point of view. That entire segment is up on DenverBroncos.com right now. But it's time for a quick break. When we come back, we'll be joined by the Athletics' Lindsey Jones. Plus, we'll go over some of the Broncos' options at punt returner.
The best Broncos banter each and every week, that is Broncos Beat.
When we even asked him about the defensive line and where these guys slot in, he said, look, I expect everybody to be able to play everywhere.
They're all in their